Hey everybody, I'm Amber.
And I'm Maddie.
And we're Witches Talking Tarot. And today we are talking about plant sentience. What do you mean? Not plant sentences, sentience. The fact that, I'm going to say it's a fact because Maddie and I agree it's a fact. Scientists don't, but that's okay. We'll get into that. The fact that plants are completely sentient, just like you and I. They're sentient like my dog's inside and my cat's inside. They're sentient. They think, they do, they even move.
Science is a lie. I'm just kidding. Please don't think that we...
that's what the most fun thing for me about this episode is that we're going to take science and we're going to take magic and we're going to see how closely fucking related they are, because the scientists, they'll take you right up. They'll take you right up to it, but they won't say plants are sentient. And we're going to get there. We're going to get there, so stick it out with us. I'm excited.
So when we talk about, like, plants communicating, when I close my eyes and see it, I see, like, the roots, and maybe as they're communicating, one glows a like, blue light.
Well,
and it's like, maybe it does.
Maybe it does, because, like, do plants see in some manner, right? Because, like, when plants communicate, they give off chemicals to each other. And they communicate through chemical scents, and they scent, whether it's smelling it or seeing. Maybe it's a glow. Maybe to a root, it is a glow of chemical. We don't know how plants see the world. So I love that, because, like,
or like,
they
and
do.
it's
They'll
different
release
colors
chemicals
for different things.
Exactly.
Blue is like, it's gonna rain.
And red is like, danger, Will Robinson. People are around.
It's Fern Gully out there.
Exactly. But, like, I love it because I picture, okay, so for those of you who don't know, when you go into a forest, you see 1/3, 33% of the forest. The other 66%, the other 2/3 of the forest is all underneath your feet. All the roots, the mycelium, all that stuff that's working together in the ground, that's the majority of the forest, and that's where all the thinking happens.
And there's mushrooms under there, too.
There are mushrooms under there.
And maybe, like, gnomes. Check out our previous episode.
Yes, because it's all alive and it's all magic, and we're getting there. So, like, I picture all the roots are going down, right? Just like our brain, like, synapses move in our brains and shit. Like, all the roots are down in the earth, and they're all commingling, and they all coexist, and, like, they just, like, they send messages through little, like, sparks. That's how I picture it. Well, and it's like sparks of light, so it's like, it's almost like when you watch a documentary and it shows the brain and it does like those things. That's how I picture
Or The Walking
plants.
Dead, when they showed how that zombie's brain died.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. But that's how I picture it. And so, like, yeah, like, some of it's slower than others. Some is fast.
So is it true? I should have looked this up. Now, like, I don't know why I didn't. That, like, how tall a tree is also how deep its roots go. Is that true? Or is
I don't know. Part of me thinks that is gonna be dependent upon the species of tree.
Because I mean, if that's the case, look at the red oak.
Well, but also, like, there's an entire fucking... Actually, yes. That's amazing. I love that. But also, like, if you think about it, there's this huge amount of root system up under your feet in the forest. Like, we look at the forest and we see the trees. We see the forest for the leaves, right?
Right, and it's not just the trees, though. Like, you've got the plants as well.
Exactly.
That are, like,
and if you flip it all upside down, because, like...
It's the same thing.
As above, so below.
Oh, my God.
Exactly. Because even, like, the fungi that live in the forest, they're, like, attached to the tree, and their roots go into the tree, or however that shit works. And then there's the mycelium that are smaller fungal things that work even further down into the forest bedding and help carry messages from one tree to the other. See, science and magic, it all goes hand in hand.
Now,
Which am I talking about? Guess. Make a drinking game out of it. I don't care. Just stick around. I'm so happy about this.
I saw a post on Facebook that was like, I don't know how true this is again. It was like, we're uprooting certain plants. Like, we're going to talk about, since we live in Missouri, we've got our Missouri native plants, which would be like echinacea, the wild plant. Yes. We're uprooting them. But if we didn't uproot them, we probably wouldn't have as many floods, because their roots are literally designed to
suck up all the... Yes, absolutely. That's why people should stop fucking with nature.
Right. Like,
we need to keep our grubby little hands off of it and watch her happen. Well, it's just like, okay, Corey was just talking about, like, I'm glad you brought up the flooding, because I'm going to bring up the other end of that aspect. Corey's talking about how in our area, we're probably going to start seeing soon, if we don't do something about it, the same kind of forest fires that they have in California. We're going to see those like in the Ozarks and shit, because we haven't been letting natural burns happen. But in nature, please don't hate me, Californians. I know it's sad and I hate when loss of life happens. Please don't misunderstand. But in nature, these burns happen naturally during like storms. Lightning will catch the old dead wood and leaves on fire. It burns away. It makes new soil for new plant growth, and then that becomes a new forest.
Australia, 2020, year of COVID, they had horrible.
Yeah.
And then there were pictures months later, and it was growing back stronger. But
exactly, that's what nature's supposed to do.
The problem is, because I hear what you're saying. One, ash is the best fertilizer. It is.
Oh yeah. Well, the problem is people live there now. You can't do that anymore. Again, I'm sorry. People need to keep their grubby little hands off nature, and we wouldn't have that problem. Or we could just like live in tune with her.
I'm watching Little House on the Prairie, and that's exactly what they're doing right now. Like, they're going fucking west or whatever. Which don't do it. I know, and I'm so confused because, like, could you just move out there and be like, "This is my land"?
There was a time when you could.
You can't do that.
It was
now.
The Great Land Grab, I think, is literally
what
it was called.
Really?
You could check. Quote me if I'm wrong. Whatever, or don't quote me if I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure it was called like the Great Land Grab.
Which, you know, I think...
It was like in the 1800s, 1700s,
people,
something like that.
Romanticize that, like, because so it's the land rush.
Oh,
but it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Like the gold rush.
Like, and I can't
Great Land Grab better.
I am totally...
God, ancient America, you suck. I know it wasn't ancient, but it sounded better.
I mean, I can't lie. I totally romanticize the whole, like, we're going west, this is my land, I'm going to put a farm here and build my own house.
Nope.
It seems great to be all pioneer woman. It does. But you gotta understand, there was no trees there because we're talking Kansas.
Yeah, see, like, for me, I'm thinking, like, I like the idea of going out, living off the land, what have you. But if I'm going to do that, I'm going to live in tune with the animals and creatures that live there. I'm not going to do what the Europeans typically do, which is kill off the predators. Like, I'm sorry, but predators need to be in an ecosystem.
Not just the predators, the people.
The people, they need to be killed off. I'm sorry, what? I'm just kidding.
I will.
Washington, D.C. viewer, don't judge us. We didn't mean it. But stick around for our next episode on reptilians.
I know. Oh my God, don't. I'm so scared. I'm going to let Amber say the name.
You kidding me? I'm going to call him the big C word. Are you fucking kidding? We're going to see how well pausing works.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
All right, well, we're going to see how that pause worked. I don't know. I'm sure that it looks like it worked just fine. Yes. So hopefully seamless for you guys, other than the fact that you know we paused it. The first time ever for Witches Talking Tarot.
It is.
But so with the plant sentience, like, I completely believe, like, okay, so actually we know scientifically that they communicate with each other, like we were talking about. I like to think and I believe that they see or sense the message. I don't think they smell like a chemical. I think they interpret the chemical, maybe like a color.
Well, we had talked like grass. When you cut grass, I love the smell. It smells so amazing. Love the smell of fresh cut grass. My nose doesn't because it makes it run.
Right.
But it's grass screaming.
Yeah, it's the smell of plant terror.
Yes.
It is a warning to all the other plants in the area.
They're like danger.
Yeah, fucked up shit's happening.
That's so sad.
It is. It's rough.
But I'm gonna be really like hippie for a minute, and I don't necessarily believe in lawns. I
don't have. Oh God! If Corey would let me,
we could get away with it. Absolutely.
Roz sent me a TikTok I'm going to see how far I can get with it before Corey tells me I'm not allowed. Because this lady on TikTok got her yard turned into like a feeding land for some kind of like butterflies or bees or whatever. She don't have to mow. My yard is like a bunch of fucking wildflowers. I don't want to mow it.
No.
I want to let it go wild. I want to let it be. I'm not for lawns. I want to make my lawn like a random ass garden. You can walk through. It's a veritable Garden of Eden.
Well,
like I'm
a
all
garden of amber.
Yes, a Garden of Amber. That's right.
Well, like,
because it's called eco landscaping. There's actually a company that does that.
I would love to do that.
I would love to do that.
You know, and the thing is, lawns just destroy ecosystems.
They do.
They really do.
And they kill off animals. Like they take away so much hiding place, so much feeding.
You know, fuck wasps.
Nesting.
But
like once you start cleaning up your yard in the springtime, you're killing so many babies
raking
of things.
their leaves. Oh my, that's where baby butterflies are.
Exactly. Like so
know?
many eggs have been laid in the downed grass and everything, and yeah, like.
But then we keep the shitty things like mosquitoes.
Right. It's an entire ecosystem, and we need to keep our grubby little paws off of it.
Right. And you could use the same argument about cats. Not getting into that controversial topic, I'm just saying they do run a fucking terror. Like,
oh yeah, Corey is anti-cat.
Like cats outside.
Please don't cancel me because my husband's like that.
Well, it's just because we've got lawns and we're fucking up the ecosystem, and then we got cats and they're running out there, and cats they don't have a predator. I mean, except for maybe cars and the occasional dog.
Right.
But when it comes to like squirrels, rabbits,
they take it anything. Snakes, lizards.
They are the monsters of the little world.
Right,
you know?
they are. They take out every bird possible. They take out all the small reptiles.
Yep.
They take out all the small, like they'll eat insects, like you just mentioned, the rodents, which we thank you for that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I am not a... Look, I love all of nature, but rodents do spread disease, so...
Well, right, and I think that's part of why we domesticated them anyway, because they do spread disease. That being said, though, they're kind of cute. Like, if they didn't spread, like, disease and shit everywhere, I'd probably be nice.
If I didn't know how much their little teeth hurt.
I've never been bit by a mouse.
Well, I assume it's the same as a hamster.
I've never been bit by a hamster, but I will tell you I've been kicked by a rabbit, and fuck them.
Dude,
fuck rabbits,
I had a scar on one of my boobs from a rabbit for a while, because I was, like, cuddling
me, and
then, he got scared, and he was like, I need to go now, and I was like, that is my chest. Oh my God, please stop.
You know, cats, cats with their little kicking reminds me so much of bunnies. Cats are like, don't you want to pet my tummy? Nah, man. No, fuck you.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
But anyway.
Our little black cat plays that game. I will not play with him. I know how it ends.
I wouldn't, right? I know it's sad.
I know, and now he lets you go longer and longer with the sweet petting before he turns. Little
Why do they do this?
I think so. That's like his only amusement, maybe. I don't know.
So do plants?
Because Katie's not home much anymore, and that's her cat.
Well, and plants are used as like, I guess we're not talking about the sentient part of it. So I'm sorry, we got off on the topic of lawns.
Yeah. Well, but it's all connected because we got on the topic of lawns because when you cut the lawns, they send off a distress signal in the form of a chemical that we can smell, and other plants can read what it means. To us, it's a nice smell that makes our allergies go a little crazy. Mm-hmm. And to other plants, it's a warning signal because plants can think and tell each other about shit because they are sentient.
But not just that. It can also be used as an almost manipulative tactic to be like, don't I smell good? Don't you want to move my pollen over there? You know what I mean?
Right, actually, 100%. Like, okay, so you bring that up. And I am rereading The Botany of Desire by Michael Pollan.
Is that about plant sex?
It is about how we and plants have used each other over the centuries, specifically for plants. It starts off with the apple, and then I can't remember what's next, but it's the apple, the potato, the tulip, and marijuana, and how we and the plant have used each other. Like, the plants have used us as humans to spread themselves. We have used the plants for our own desires. That's why it's called the Botany of Desire, because the plants have used us just as much as we've used them. Like Johnny Appleseed. He spread the apple across the nation, and he gave the apple a new identity by doing it the way he did it. Because if you know anything about the way that we fuck with nature. We like to find something great in trees, and then we graft that tree into other trees, and it's all grafts of this one thing that we thought was great. But an apple, every single apple has 5 or so seeds in it. I think it's just 5 in each one of those little star-shaped pockets, right? It's a star, there's 5 seeds. Each one of those seeds will grow a different kind of apple tree if you plant it.
Really?
Every single apple. Except for the ones that Monsanto, the evil-ass, bastard-ass corporation that fucks with plants.
No, what do they do?
They make, for the most part, Monsanto treats their seeds to grow plants that cannot have seeds that germinate.
My mother was telling me that. So you have
germinate
to keep
seeds,
them.
right? And if you do have second-year seeds, they will come back to a farmer and say, "You owe us this much money for those seeds that you grew last year and then saved starter seeds like we've always done." Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not okay with that. They're evil. They're awful. And if you
that is evil.
Fucking keep Monsanto out of America.
That is evil. Fuck. I have heard of them. That is
Monsanto's horrible. Oh my gosh.
Because they're wanting to capitalize.
I will die on that soapbox.
Yeah, no, that is horrible.
Yeah, you hear me, DC listener? Fuck Monsanto.
They're like, write it down.
Yeah, write it down. Amber is anti-Monsanto, and so should everybody else be.
Bill, we've got a problem.
Whatever. I used to play saxophone. It's okay. Anywho,
as for like the plants, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you're fine. So like, if it's a regular apple, it'll have 5 different trees grow from that, and every single apple in the tree will have seeds for a different kind of fucking apple. So there are blue apples, there are purple apples,
I've seen that. I've seen
sorts of fucking
it was
apples.
Like a picture, and there was like all different types of apples, and it was crazy how different they all looked.
Yeah, like as a family, and now that we've bought this house, I'm gonna do that. As a family, Corey and I have always talked, ever since we read this book the first time over a decade ago, we've talked about getting an apple, and everybody picks a seed and plants it, and we all see what our apple tree is from the same apple.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
My husband and I were, and this is on topic, I promise, rewatching Grease 2, and it was the reproduction
I have not
song.
seen that forever.
It's horrible, but the reproduction song, and he's like talking about like, this is how a plant reproduces, and it was like something to do with like the stimuli being stimulated to produce pollen that is then carried to the... How do you stimulate the stimuli?
Well, okay, so...
There are some plants you jack off. I'm sorry.
No, so I was watching this bee in my my heavenly bamboo on my front porch. It has little white flowers that they just opened this week. And yesterday or the day before, I was mesmerized because there's all these little bumblebees. Or not bumblebees. They're the ones that are a little bit smaller than bumblebees, but they're fuzzy.
Yeah.
And not the scary.
Are they fat?
They're fat, but not
them.
fat like bumblebees.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, because the bumblebees are the biggest ones, right? Mm-hmm. These are smaller than bumblebees. They're like about like the size of a quarter, okay? Mm-hmm. And they're like bouncing on each flower, and it was to get it to open up, and then so they can get the little pollen nuggets off of it, whatever. And so like I'm watching, and I turn around, and here's another one over here, and this guy's little legs are just fat with yellow little pieces of pollen. And what it looked like they were doing is it looked like they were bouncing at the flower to make it open a little bit wider, and then they were like going back in and getting the pollen. I could be wrong. I don't know. It was all very like fast and bumbling.
I love pictures of bee butts.
Yeah,
sticking out of flowers.
Cool. Yeah,
they're so cute. It does remind me of the Bee Movie, which I love.
I do love the Bee Movie.
I
My
love
kids
that movie.
love the
Fuck
Bee Movie.
everybody who talks shit on the Bee Movie.
You know what?
It's
Fuck
so
that
funny.
because like I got my daughter when she was like 18 the Bee Movie for Christmas. Like I got them each that year like a different movie from their childhood. The middle one got Shrek. I don't remember what I got the youngest one, but I got the oldest one, the Bee Movie. And they invited their fucking friends over, and all these teenagers are sitting in my living room watching the Bee Movie.
I love that movie. It's so funny.
It was great.
You've got the bees and they're pollinating.
Yeah, and Renee Zellweger.
Yeah, right? And then her boyfriend, I feel so bad for him because he's the only sane one. He's like, bro, he's a fucking bee. And...
Is he sane? I think he's the one that doesn't see magic.
Right. I mean,
I don't know. That's just me, but I'm crazy. So
granted, it is funny. I
I
like
am the queen of crazy on Witches Talking Tarot when it comes to this crunchy shit.
the personification, is that it?
Personification
of bees. Just end their life.
I
love
it.
I do.
I love it. Okay, you know what? So I think the perfect thing. Okay, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, what if bees can talk to plants?
Oh, absolutely, like, I believe it.
They're like, here, send this love letter to this other flower.
Right? Like, oh, you want me to go this one? You like him? Oh, no. I think he's along with this guy.
Oh my God, that's an ugly flower. What are you doing?
Okay, so something important to note for this episode is scientists don't believe plants are fully sentient. Mm-hmm. Maddie and I absolutely both do believe that.
Mm-hmm. It's a spiritual thing for me.
Yeah, I have believed that my entire life.
Absolutely.
I've always held the belief of animism, which is everything has a spirit. Mm-hmm. Rocks, the dirt,
I totally agree.
So we're gonna say that we do understand not everybody believes that same way. You're wrong.
I don't understand how people don't.
I don't either. But it did come to my attention about a decade ago that I'm it's not sometimes the odd man out there.
It's not something that hinders me, because there are some people that believe that way so much they can't, for example, sit down with their kid and pick grass. That's something normal kids do. They'll sit down, they'll pull up grass, and just fuck around. There are some people that are so far in that belief that they're like, you know what I mean?
Yep, I'm there now.
I don't think I will ever be there. I don't think so, because I'm a vegetarian, and if I'm for the most part, when I'm not pregnant, a vegetarian, and if I was there, then I would starve.
Well, no, but see, here's the thing. No matter what you consume, we live in a universe that requires us to constantly consume to continue. That's just the fact of our life. So even if you believe in animism, just like, if you believe in animism, it doesn't mean that you cannot consume those things. It means you do it conscientiously. It means you do it respectfully. It means you don't do it with gluttony in your heart. You know what I mean? Just like if you are a meat eater and you're a hunter and you thank the animal that you have taken the life of because you're going to consume it. It's a respectful way to, deal with an animal that you're going to consume versus,
Well, and I feel like
some ways that it could be done otherwise.
Consuming is different. Like, eating is different than using something and not eating it, just killing it for something and not eating it. You know what I mean? To me, it's totally different.
No, I understand, and that is where the difference for me in picking a carrot out of the garden and just plucking up a handful of grass lies.
Right. Well, it's the same with animals for me, because, as a vegetarian, I'm not gonna...
I guess I'm saying it's the same in both things for me. If you're doing something respectfully and with purpose, there's not a wrong thing about it. You know what I'm saying? If you're doing it respectfully and with purpose.
Right.
Versus just, game hunters. I'm not going to start a big conversation on it, but, I'm definitely not for that. But if you hunt because you're going to eat that meat,
then you have to use the hide.
You're going to use the hide so that it's being used. Well, then that's the responsible,
So
respectful
how
way
do you
to
feel
do that.
about leather?
Leather, again, if it's from a standpoint of it was harvested responsibly so that you're using the entire animal or what have you.
Absolutely.
I think it's okay, especially from the standpoint of I'm getting to be against man-made, chemical-created things like fake vinyl and pleather and plastic. And so, denim and leather is more natural than a polyester fiber. You know what I mean? So I'm starting to lean more toward natural items, and leather is a natural item. Mm-hmm. Again, if it's leather that I don't know that you can find ethically done leather. I don't own I don't own much, if any, leather, but I don't know how much ethically gained leather you could get. You know, do butcher shops that ethically, take care of their animals and slaughter their animals ethically, do they sell the skin to be made into leather? I really don't know.
I have no
idea. That's
idea.
something that I would have to look into. But, that's
like,
my train of thought.
You know,
Does that make sense?
Right, absolutely. Yeah. And then when it comes to, fur, I know things like the Inuks, is that what it's called? Inuits. They make their coats out of things that they have used, as opposed to buying it at the store. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I'm sitting here thinking, does that go hand in hand with ethically sourced vegetables, since we're talking about plants? Ethically sourced plants, because it's really hard to find. Even if you get organic vegetables, they're not necessarily ethically sourced.
Right, but my point with the animals and the plants was, it's the difference in going through the park and just ripping leaves off of trees for your enjoyment, versus you're harvesting plants because they're going to be eaten. Because you were saying, as a vegetarian, you can't look at it that way, because then you wouldn't be able to eat plants. And I'm saying, for me, sorry guys, I hit my vape and choked myself. But it falls into that ethical piece for me of, if you're picking a plant because you're going to eat it, that's acceptable. If you're ripping a leaf off of a tree because it amuses you or for simple enjoyment, I can't truck with that anymore. When my kids were younger, I didn't have the same belief system. Now, when I have grandkids, when I'm out with a walk with them, I am going to discourage that. Now, we can go pick berries and enjoy picking berries. We can pick flowers for your mom. We can do other things, but destroying a plant for the sake of enjoying the destruction, just like kids picking grass. Because I get it. I did that too. And it's out of boredom. And it's because you like the way it feels. And it's destroying a plant. Yeah.
And then there's also, with the harvesting vegetables and having gardens as well, the argument that, to create those gardens, you had to destroy a natural habitat in general. You know what I mean? You had to upturn the soil, and you had to uproot so many other plants to have these plants. So would gardens be considered ethical?
So I guess, again, it would depend. Is it to produce food? And
even herbs, if you're using them medicinally or, spiritually. I'm going to go ahead and qualify spiritually as well. You know what I mean? So it's
So if I'm pulling out the crabgrass that somebody 20 years ago planted as a lawn, and I'm going to put in more beneficial plants, because I don't know if you've seen our garden out back, and maybe for our Instagram I'll take some pictures of my wild ass berry and herb garden. But
is it doing good?
Oh my God, it's so happy. We should go in between episodes and look.
Because I want to see it now. Are there berries out there?
There are. I don't know if they're ripe. We can check. They weren't ripe They weren't ripe on Sunday when I was looking at them. But there are some big red ones. The blackberries, they're red now. The raspberries have turned from
Do you have any mulberries?
I think there are mulberries on the tree.
I love mulberries.
We'll go check out the mulberry tree. But the garden, we have put things in, and then we just kind of let it do. We even let the weeds that grow in there. For the most part, I let it fly. For the most part, I really do. Until, there was this one creeping grass that was flowering, and it was not the henpecked and the purple nettle. I left them alone. But the weed that could provide no benefit, I did pull it out because it was choking one of my berry bushes.
Right.
So, I do a little bit of, I don't completely be uninvolved. I can't lie and say, we let it go completely. We have planted it. We put the plants in there that we want in there. We've got raspberries. We've got blackberries. We've got blueberries. We've got strawberries. We've got lavender, we've got French lavender, we've got lemon balm, we've got chamomile, we've got mint, we've got chocolate mint. We have some azaleas that I still don't understand why Corey planted them there, but he did, and so they're there. Poor azaleas, they're not getting any sunlight anymore because everything else is like growing over them. But you know, that garden just, it does, and it does well. And the birds have dropped sunflowers in there, and they've dropped pokeberry in there. And I'm just letting it grow because, like, one of the pokeberries is huge. And like,
with your other berries?
Yeah, well, because like the pokeberries are going to feed the birds, and hopefully the birds will leave my other berries alone. And they won't be in contact with each other.
Well, I guess you don't have young kids around, so you don't have to worry about
them
like
knowing
confusing.
the difference.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about that at all. But I figure if I leave the pokeberries, then the birds might leave my blackberries and my raspberries alone. That's what I'm hoping. I left them last year, and at least, you know, I'm feeding the birds. And I like pokeberries, and they're great for magic. They're huge for magic. And you can eat poke. You can have poke salad, and you can have,
I think the berries have to turn a certain way.
You can't have the berries. Well, you can eat the berries, and but the seeds are what's poisonous. But it's, you know, like getting them separated is a pain in the ass. I know from personal experience for making ink. But again, you know, it's that we took some dirt that only had grass in it, and now there's a bunch of beneficial plants that are, bees are in there all the time, hummingbirds come by there all the time, regular birds come by all the time. Like, it provides to the ecosystem versus taking away from it. And for me, that's where one of those lines, as far as people being involved goes, like, hey, if you're gonna live and have a lawn, you're being involved anyway, right? Because you either got to mow your lawn or deal with the city when you don't mow your lawn, right? So, like, one way or another, you got to be involved there, right? So it's like, be beneficial to the wider world around my yard.
The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Yeah, I give
Spock.
Yeah, like, my yard is kind of like a veritable garden of amber for the animals in the area. Like, frogs breed in our pond. Birds bathe in our pond. Bumblebees get water in our pond. Like, I see like so many different animals drinking out of my pond. And it's not even a natural pond, it's man-made, but if nobody's out there, the birds love it. I don't know. But like, as far as the plant sentience piece goes, I try to, I acknowledge and respect all the plants in my yard, which to me, from a spiritual standpoint, is very important because I do believe that they experience the world just like I do. So I want to acknowledge them just like I think they acknowledge me.
Right.
I do.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, like, I can feel the spirits in trees, and, you know, as we were talking earlier, you know, the majority of what you might call sentience in a tree is below the surface of the earth, you know, in their roots.
Well,
where they do
have
their
you
thinking.
seen that thing where you can hook up to plants and you hear them
The music
sing?
that they make?
Yes. I love that. I do.
I love that too. I absolutely, like, have you guys ever seen that on TikTok? That's where I saw it, was on TikTok.
Oh, I saw it on Facebook, but I did. I want one of those, I can't lie. And it's all about how the water flows through the plant. The different patterns and vibrations the water flowing makes, which makes me wonder if that affects it as well, you know, like...
Well, you know, there's a plant, it's called, like, the dancing plant, and if you play music or sing to it, it literally dances.
There's one that if you touch it, it hides.
Yes, there is one. The water recedes and it, like, just hides, yeah. And it's a defense mechanism, absolutely, but it's responding to stimuli from its environment. Just like the dancing plant, it responds to musical instruments, but it responds much better to a voice singing to it. And you can train it. So if you take a dancing plant out of somewhere that it has never been exposed to music, and you start playing music for it, it'll dance real shitty. But if you do it every day, it'll dance better and better every day. So plants can be trained. They can be trained. And anybody who has trained a tree or something to grow in a certain way knows plants can be trained. Plants have memory, because this one guy, he put some plants on their sides, some pea plants on their side, right? And then the light source was up here. And so they had to start growing toward the light, right? Then he made them go to sleep, because plants sleep. If you don't know it, plants sleep. I learned this. It's so interesting to me. Do you
freeze them?
He put them in the fridge. But, like, they sleep on a regular basis, even just with the night cycle, which I'm so excited to talk about. But he put them in the fridge for, like, 4 days or some shit at, like, 33 degrees Celsius or something. I don't know. He takes them out of the fucking fridge, and he puts them upright, and they're both still, one of them's not growing as much to the side, but the other one's growing exactly the same way it was, because it remembers the last time it was awake, the light source is over here, not up here. And so, like, it showed that the plants have memory, and some plants have better memory than others. And I was telling Maddie offline, there's a plant called the daughter vine, that it's a completely parasitic plant, doesn't have its own root source or anything, and it literally chooses the best host plant for it to attach to.
Which is so creepy.
Yeah, like they did like this time-elapsed video, and they put it between a wheat plant, which doesn't have much stuff to offer, and a tomato plant, and this little mother vine, which I guess it does sort of have its own root structure because they planted it in the ground, but like it did this thing where it like rode the wind currents around the room for the hours that they were watching it, and it just kept like testing the air around both of the two plants before it decided that the tomato plant was the best host, and it grabbed onto it. So it's not even like it just randomly happens to wind up on tomato plants a lot. It seeks them out because it's a better host than a lot of the other plants that it grows around.
So I think you and I both agree that plants make decisions and have their own sort of mind. And that means they have their own consciousness as well?
Yes, absolutely. Like, there are plants that can identify sibling plants, and they share food with them. And plants that don't share the same lineage will also coexist together and help each other better live in a forest environment, because they are conscious and they do know what their neighbors are about and what they can offer their neighbors and what they can take from their neighbors. Like, I find it highly fucking, it's so interesting to me, like, plant sentience, because like the way one guy in a documentary put it, he was like, you can talk to a normal person like this and they'll just think you're crazy. You can talk to a scientist like this and they'll think you're crazy and then tell you you're wrong when you say plants are sentient. Because the reason I know plants sleep is they did a scientific study to see if plants sleep like we do. Like, do they need to sleep? Will they die without sleep like we will? Do they actually sleep to regenerate like people do? They made this plant that has a regular sleep cycle stay awake for like 3 weeks, and it died.
Oh my gosh.
They refused to say that it died from sleep deprivation, but that was the only change in its environment by not removing its light source. So constant lights on it. So if you keep your lights on your plants constantly, it's actually not good for them. You should keep them on the same cycle as the sun. It's much better for them because they naturally have a sleep cycle like we do. And they respond to stimuli in their environment just like we do, because they're sentient and conscious just like we are. I know, I like to picture that they get up and walk around. I know that's not real. That's Alice in Wonderland shit.
I like it. It reminds me of the Dark Crystal.
Well, it reminds me of the Ents, like from The Lord of the Rings.
Oh, absolutely.
The Ents. I love the fucking Ents.
I think trees are the... I guess it depends, because I want to say trees are the oldest souls. But I mean, you have baby trees. They will be the elders of the forest.
Eventually, yeah. Because, like, there are mother trees that are whatever generation.
Well,
and
how
then
long
they have
can trees fucking live without getting sick, without being torn down? They can live for
without human intervention, yeah.
Or is illness.
Thousands.
Illness, you know?
Yeah, like, there are plants that are 43,000 years young, and, like, to them, that's nothing. because we haven't fucked with
I think
them
I
yet.
read that there was a mushroom that was like 1,500 years old in Oregon. It's the oldest known living, whatever the fuck a mushroom
Fungi?
is. Fungi, yeah. And it's really big and it's underground.
That's cool.
And it's 3 miles long.
That's fucking
like,
cool.
Like, it's huge.
I believe that shit. It's been growing for 1,500 years. Just like the plant that this guy was standing by that was 43,000 years old. And it's just like healthy and young, and like plant time and our time are completely different times.
Are plants in the 4th dimension?
I believe it because like the plant.
At least trees.
Look, there is a tree at 7th and Murphy that waves to me. And I love her. She's my friend.
You know,
she
I like
gives me
that
messages
tree.
from the goddess.
At Wildcat Glaive.
Oh yeah.
Or the one that's it's huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
We have a tree on our property. Not my husband and I's, but my grandparents, and we call it Big Tree. And it's what are they called? They're a type of oak. It is the biggest oak I've ever seen. It's not a red oak, it's something else.
I don't know different kinds of oaks apparently. Like I am searching my brain.
I'm gonna Google it, see if I can find it. But it's a type of huge oak.
Like, I don't know, my poplar tree in my backyard, we're pretty good friends. And Corey got me a book for Mother's Day that's called Wild Crafting for our local plants, essentially, in the area we live in. And, my tree, the flowers from my tree are good if you have an upset stomach.
Really? What are they?
Yellow
Poplar?
tulip poplars. Tulip poplar. Which is different, I'm pretty sure, from a regular poplar. Like, it's a tulip poplar. And I think it's because of the flowers. I don't know. I should probably look into that. I don't know. I loved the tulip poplar in Corey's grandma's yard because she had a purple tulip poplar. So when we bought this house,
beautiful,
and it was a yellow tulip poplar, I was like, Corey, I'm pretty sure that's a tulip poplar. And he's like, And I was like, I'm pretty sure it's the same kind of tree as your grandma's, but different flowers. And it is.
It's so funny because my husband and I live on tree streets.
Yes.
We lived on Poplar, and then when I was growing up, we lived on Chestnut for a while. And now we live on Orchard. Is that not hilarious? So it all comes together.
Elm Street.
Elm.
Yes.
I did live on Elm Street.
You did.
I did actually. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It's a nice house actually. Elm Road.
Yeah, I was such a big Nightmare on Elm Street fan. I was like, I just want to live on Elm Street.
There's so many
stupid. What can I say?
Excuse me. I'm so sorry. In Amherstown, it's like. The streets are named after states, but in my town, they're named after trees. Yeah. They are. So there's like... Yeah, we've got the numbers, we've got the states. I think that's... Well, and then there's like the couple randoms like Schifferdecker and Rangeline. God. And these bitches, like it's
if you can spell Schifferdecker on our YouTube, spell Schifferdecker correctly, we'll like reach out to you and send you a free sticker. If you spell it correctly. Without Googling.
We lived...
Don't cheat.
Near Sophia. Everybody called it Sophia, and it's like, bitch, it's Sophia, it's a fucking tree. What the fuck are you trying to say?
Really?
Yes.
I've never heard of a Sophia tree.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up now. Because we're talking about trees.
Is it spelled with an F or a PH? Just
SOPH.
Oh, okay.
Tree.
Okay.
Yeah, Sophia tree, what the fuck is that? That's a person. It's a type of pear tree.
Very cool.
Pears of the pear tree Sophia are juicy, sweet, and have an oblong shape.
Don't all pears have an oblong shape? I don't like pears, so I don't really know.
I'm not a fan. I don't
like the taste.
It's a texture thing.
Well, yeah, it's the texture. It's not the taste. Because I like the smell, so I like the taste. It's I don't like the biting in. It's too mealy. I can't do mealy apples. No. I don't like mealy anything. Except grits. I like grits. Dichotomy of man.
It's a flowering tree. Obviously, it's a flowering tree. It's a fruit tree. Most fruit trees flower, right?
Right. That's where the fruit comes from. I don't know. I love trees. I feel like we kind of underrate all the other big plants that aren't trees.
I think trees are definitely, like, when I think plant sentient and all that jazz, I think trees immediately, because you can't tell me they're not whispering to each other.
Oh, for sure. They wave at me. Some of them, look, this is how I know they wave at me.
That's the wind, Amber, that's the wind.
No, but this is how I know that it's not the wind, because they don't all wave at me. They don't all wave at me. Sometimes there's no wind, and they, like, flicker their little leaves.
Do you have corn out there?
Nope.
What is that?
That is the Georgia cane.
Oh. No, I had just seen a video. I think it was that, like, Forager, the black Forager. The ones you have out in the front of your house, the yucca, are a type of asparagus.
Nice!
That's why they look like big-ass asparagus.
The first time I ever saw one, I was like, oh my god, it's a big-ass asparagus. And we didn't know we were wrong.
It is a type of asparagus.
We weren't wrong.
You weren't
That's
wrong.
cool.
That's why and I think you can eat the asparagus part, but don't. Because I don't know. Like, do your research. Disclaimer.
I will do my research. I love knowing because I have real asparagus growing in my yard too.
It's great for medicinal uses as well.
Oh,
I can't fucking remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I need to harvest some of that bitch. Corey's always like, you need to harvest your lavender.
My grandparents called them yucca her ghost plant because it looks like little ghosts with like Charlie Brown ghosts.
I totally get that. I like and dislike that plant all at the same time. I don't know. I can't explain.
I just grew up with it being called the ghost plant, so that's just what I've called it. She also has this huge fucking lilac bush in her yard. Oh my god, it smells. Bring in a fucking like just a little bundle of those in your whole house. Will smell.
I believe it because in Corey's grandma's backyard, there's so much wisteria growing down.
Oh my god.
And it's
gorgeous. There's some in my backyard, but it's a vine. It's a climbing thing, so it's in the tops of the trees, and you can
coming
see it
down.
Coming
it's
down.
purple. Oh, it's fucking gorgeous.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, I got a bunch of pictures just of it in the wind because damn, I hadn't been to grandma's backyard in the
I think that's what's
spring
in
for a long time.
On the house on Bridgerton. You see how they've got the wisteria hanging. It's gorgeous.
It is. I love hanging, especially if it's purple. Like blue may be my favorite color, but hanging purple flowers.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I gotta say, if I had to choose a scent that was too strong for me, it'd be honeysuckle. That shit's strong.
It does get strong. I would have to say that if there was an argument for plant sentience, I think it would be the smells that they give off to entice us to make them travel. Honestly,
maybe is that what it is?
They control us. Absolutely. Well, like, okay, so like there was this tobacco plant, right? And it was using this one kind of moth as a pollinator. And I guess like so many moths were coming through, they laid so many caterpillar eggs. So now the caterpillars were like destroying these tobacco plants, right? So the tobacco plants, there were two things they did. The ones that were being destroyed by the caterpillars, they gave off a chemical scent that attracted the predators of the caterpillar to eat the caterpillars, to take care of their predator. And then they gave off a defensive scent so that the other tobacco plants in the area changed their flowers and their bloom time to no longer attract these moths. Like a plant in like it was not even over a course of months. It was like a course of days. It changed the shape of its flowers, and when it bloomed to attract hummingbirds to pollinate it instead of these moths, because there were so many moths that year that the caterpillars were killing off the plant, so it stopped using that as its pollinator and changed to the hummingbird. That's how fucking sentient plants are. If you guys didn't think plants were sentient, tell me you believe now. Please tell me. Please tell me. They changed the shape of their flower in a matter of days. That's like a girl being like, I'm going to cut my hair because I'm mad.
Not to get on this topic, because I don't think we have time, and I think Amber could go forever.
Oh my god, I could.
I think you know what I'm about to say. Don't mushrooms do that shit?
Oh my god!
Aren't that why,
Psychedelics, Terrence McKenna. I didn't bring him up yet. Thank you.
Because they'd be like, oh my god, this person's eating me. I'm gonna fuck their shit up.
Exactly. Because that is exactly what psychedelics are. Like catnip, marijuana, fungus, all these different things.
It kind of backfired because people actually like it.
Right? But at the same time, it is a defense mechanism to make the thing that's eating it not only not hungry anymore, because when you're on a psychedelic, you lose your appetite, but also you get disoriented and you forget where you are, and so you can't find your way back to the plants.
We're talking mushrooms, and I'm thinking, damn, mushrooms on pizza sound good as fuck.
So you're talking mushrooms. We're talking plant consciousness.
Right.
Mushrooms are why we are what we are, because if the primates out on the African plains had never flipped over cow turds and eaten those magic mushrooms and tripped all the fucking time, our brains would not be what they are today. We wouldn't have this light. We wouldn't have this podcast and this video.
Are you talking about like...
I'm talking about reality. Like, this is real theory.
You say monkeys like primates. Are you saying that... Like we came from primates?
Evolution, yes.
Okay, because I thought you were talking about orangutans.
Okay, no.
I was like, what the fuck does a chimpanzee
human? I'm talking about ancient humans.
Lucy.
Out on the plain, that's right. Lucy, flipping over a cow turd, looking for bugs to eat, finds a mushroom. And she goes, I wonder if that's edible. And she eats it. And it changes her brain. And she eats it again, and it changes her brain, and she leads her others to it.
I've never heard this theory.
Yeah. Look it up. There's Terrence McKenna is fucking amazing. Oh, my God. Terrence McKenna. Oh, my God. But
we'll have to do a whole episode on mushrooms then, huh?
Okay. Can it be 3 hours long?
Well, I would love to
Wait. Are we going to do the episode on mushrooms, or are we going to do the episode on mushrooms?
Well, maybe I won't be pregnant then, so... I'm just kidding. I can't do a psychedelic. I could never record. I don't want to record that. Are you kidding me? I don't want to know what I say or do. No. I've never done it, but I have too much anxiety. I think I'd be like, they're watching us.
Yeah, you might not.
No, don't mention Bill.
But it was just a joke.
Apollo.
There's this. It's an actual theory, and I can't remember the name of it.
So
but if you look up Terrence McKenna, mushrooms and monkeys,
did they purposely change us since they?
Yeah.
Why?
I think so.
Because they're aliens.
Sentient. Oh my God! Mushrooms are aliens, though. They are. Like, mushrooms are aliens. Oh my God. Did you think you were kidding? Because you're not.
Nope.
They were introduced. They're not biologically, part of our planet.
Octopuses. Just like octopusi. What are they called?
Octopus?
Octopi.
Mm-hmm. Cephalopods or just octopi?
I think it's... I know for sure octopi. I don't know about the others. But they, just like mushrooms, do not have anything that is like...
Yeah, but mushrooms came from like an asteroid or something, and that's how they were seeded onto our planet. So they are aliens, and shit, why did they make? I think they had.
I have no idea.
I'm
not as passionate about the topic as you.
They lost control. They thought we would do better, and then we did this, and they were like, "Idiocracy." Was not a documentary. It was a warning.
I swear, when I think of that movie, was there a scene where he like had like a drink out of a water fountain, but it was like...
It's green. Yeah, it's... I can't... Brondo, because electrolytes. And they water the plants with Brondo because plants like electrolytes. It's like Gatorade. It's Gatorade. It's Brondo, but it's Gatorade. And, not Tyler Perry, but the other one.
The one we always confuse, the big guy.
I can't remember his name. Terry Crews,
Crews.
Terry Crews is the president of Idiocracy, and he's a professional wrestler, and that's all you need to know. They water their plants with Brondo because it's got electrolytes, and plants like electrolytes.
You say that about Terry Crews, and I'm like, isn't that what happened in California with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
So anyway, Idiocracy was a warning.
So sorry. I don't know anything about his politics. I don't know anything about his politics at all. Like
Schwarzenegger, me either.
Okay. So I was like, I hope that wasn't
Terry
a shitty
Crews
comment.
had no politics in the movie. They were all idiots. Like, it's hilarious.
I haven't seen it in years. I wasn't impressed, but I feel like I should watch it again as an adult. I think I was like 10.
Yeah, it's one of our favorites. Oh, it's so fucking... Anyway, so plants, they had better thoughts for us. That's why they did what they did. That's what the mushrooms had in mind, and we were people instead. Yep.
So do you think plants have a mind of their own, or a hive mind even?
Oh, and do you think that... Damn, I lost it. Go for it. Keep going. I lost what I was going to say.
Let us know by commenting if you're watching us on YouTube, or like and subscribe. It really helps us out.
Absolutely. And definitely check out our Patreon. Melissa, hey girl, thanks for being our patron. We appreciate you. If you want a shout out like Melissa, definitely check it out. We also have merch, and we have new merch coming that smells so good.
It does. I'm so excited for these.
All right. Well, thanks for coming to sit with us for a spell, right? Bye.